Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. الفاتحة لم ينزل حبشا ولا أقرأ إلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم بسر الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نويت تعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So we continue with our daras of Kitab Risalatul Jami'ah by Abdurrahman Balkhi. So we have arrived at the chapter of Hifzul Qalb min al-Ma'asi. And to continue, we have mentioned a few of the vices of the heart. And we stop at Riya. So the fifth one is Riya. Riya is actually is basically showing off or ostentation. So this is one of the worst kind. Some scholars say that this is the worst, the worst form of which, the worst form of vice of the heart. So it's like Riya is performing rites of worships or good deeds for the sake of other than Allah. So many people are affected by this, and may Allah protect us from this. So it's performing rites of worship or good deeds for the sake of other than Allah. That means it's for others. In plain terms, it is showing off and doing something to gain notoriety, to gain fame or whatever from others. That means they are expecting others. They are expecting something from other than Allah. So in the Quran, Allah said, whosoever desires the life of the world and its luxuries, to them we shall pay in full the wages of their deeds therein, and will not make any reduction in it. And the Prophet also referred this vice of Riya as the lesser idolatry. Is what is it? Shirk khafi. Shirk khafi is lesser idolatry. And Imam Maulud outlines signs of ostentation. The signs of ostentation is laziness and lack of action for the sake of God. When one is alone and unable to or unwilling to perform acts of worship, but when in front of others, he will have drive to do them. So when in front of people, they will have the drive to do more good deeds and more worships. That means they are doing it for the sake of others, not for Allah. And when they are alone, they will do none or they will do less. This is one sign of Riya. And another sign is increasing one's action when being praised and decreasing them in the absence of praise. So when they are being praised, they do more, and they will have the they will have the that drive to do more worships. But if nobody praise them, then they won't have the drive, or they won't do it. But that doesn't mean that in Islam we cannot praise someone or encourage someone to do good, especially for the young people. We should praise them. And even Rasulullah, the Prophet ﷺ, see somebody doing something good, he would say you did well, and he will praise them. Uh, so, and he also said, Rasulullah SAW said, when a believer hears somebody praising him in his faith, is someone praising him, his faith or iman will increase, not his pride. So his faith will iman with the his iman will increase due to the praise, not his pride. His pride doesn't increase or decrease with the praise. Uh, so scholars actually distinguish between this form of praise and the dishing out of empty flattery. So we are encouraged to praise others also, and we can praise for the good things that they do, especially for the young people, to give them the drive and what to encourage them to do more good deeds. But also we have to uh, teach them and make them aware that it should be for Allah, for the sake of Allah, and none other than Allah. So it shouldn't matter to them if they are being praised or not, and we should all try to do good deeds for the sake of Allah, just for the sake of Allah, and um, um, when we are alone. So riya can happen in many situations. Example like performing hajj and then letting others know about it, and delivering an emotional speech so that people will be in awe of him, or crying in front of others in a majlis so that people will have good opinions of him. So there are many scenarios that riya can happen, and if all these are done for the sake of getting the attention or getting praise or opinions of others, then that is riya. But if the intention is like someone goes to hajj and all, and he mentions it, he mentioned the his performing of hajj to teach or to enlighten people, to give people the drive to go for hajj and to give encouragement, then that is not riya. But when he does that, then he have to make sure that he is not affected by this riya. So this is very dangerous. And yeah, one of it is this riya is um, affected in many learned people of knowledge. Then they will tend to be affected by riya and ujub, uh, and takabur, because of the knowledge they possess. And like the past scholars, they get their status solely by their knowledge, not because of like uh, mentioning whatever they do. So yeah, we have to take care of this. Beware that we are not um, we don't fall into this behavior of riya. So the root cause of riya is desire or wanting someone from a source other than Allah. So we should all be aware that there is nobody can give us anything except for Allah. So there is no point to impress anyone except for Allah. So there's no point to highlight your good deeds or highlight your worships or to show others your worships and your good deeds. So there's really no point, because what matters is what Allah's opinion to us. So it doesn't matter what others think about us. So the remedy for Riyah is to purify the heart by removing love of praise and fear of blame and desire for worldly benefits from people, and also fear of harm from people. So we should remove all this. We should at least try to remove all this. Of course, we will all be affected by this, but we should work on it by removing all these problems we face. and always strengthen. We should strengthen the certainty, our yakin in Allah, the Creator, and to do anything and everything solely for the sake of Allah. So this is what is that? Is hard, but we should try and train ourselves to do anything at all, to do or to not do anything for the sake of Allah, just for the sake of Allah. And there's we shouldn't think about the rewards, or we shouldn't think about the implications of our deeds. We just do for the sake of Allah. Of course, that should be within the Sharia, not do things for the sake of Allah that is wrong. So next one, we move on. Self glorification in one's obedience to God. This is ujub or vanity. This is also one that is affect one problem that is affected by scholars and people of knowledge. Once one of my teachers have also mentioned that, because I asked him, when you teach, does this ujub comes to you? He said, of course at the start it will come, but you have to fight against. You have to fight this ujub. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop teaching. So you have to fight the ujub, and you fight until it will die down, and train yourself to do it for the sake of Allah. So not not for the money, not for the praise, not for people's opinion on you, just for the sake of Allah and to do da'wah. That is for the those who teach, and this is related to arrogance. Ujub is related to arrogance. So while arrogance, which is takabur, require people to be require two people to be manifested. Vanity, ujub, just require the self. So when takabur, you need another person to show your arrogance. Then it will be manifested, because the arrogance by itself won't be manifested unless there is someone for you to be arrogant to towards him. But vanity, ujub, just require the self. So him alone, or the person alone, can have ujub, just being by him, just being alone and by himself. He can have this ujub because he thinks highly of himself. Like he thinks that, oh, mashallah, I am very knowledgeable in this matter, and mashallah, my wealth is a lot, and I did it all by myself, and I did a good job. And he forgot, and he didn't what is that he didn't he didn't get it back to Allah. That means he should remember that his knowledge or his wealth or whatever blessings that Allah has given him is given by Allah, and there's nothing to be arrogant about. There's nothing to be glorified about. So it's all, he can of course say Alhamdulillah. He can show his what is it? He can say Alhamdulillah that to Allah that He has given him all these blessings and all, but he shouldn't think that he got it all by himself. So many types of vanity. There are many types of vanities like talents, knowledge, beauty, possessions, status, lineage, etc. Like the most problematic one is normally knowledge and lineage and possessions. Actually, everything can be problematic. Like someone with from a good lineage, he will have this ujub that he is one of the best, and others are like of low status. So he will have this feel good and think that he is better than others just because of his lineage. But he forgot that He is given by Allah, and he didn't achieve anything by himself. And actually, for lineage, you cannot do anything. It's given by Allah. So there's nothing to be ujub about. And ujub is rejoicing. And also, yeah, beauty also can be a type of vanity. Someone who has a who looks good, who looks very, very good. He can be a beautiful lady or handsome man, and he's he's like he's so vain about it. He thinks that he is the best, uh, and he will look down on others. So ujub is rejoicing in the blessings one has, but he forgets the source of the blessing. So we should always remember the source of the blessings, which is Allah. The blessing comes from Allah, and we are just getting the blessing. So there's nothing uh, to to be arrogant about. So it is admiring his own self for all the hard works he have put into to reach where he is. That is ujub. In the Quran, Allah said, "Oh, above all, those who have knowledge is the all-knowing." Surah Yusuf. And in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, "God makes every maker and what He makes." So uh, this shows that it's all given by Allah. Allah makes uh, Allah makes every maker and what He makes. Allah makes a person who makes something and whatever he makes. So there's nothing to be uh, arrogant about. And Prophet Musa alayhi salam showed no vanity when he became a student of Khidir. When he got to know that Khidir had knowledge that he didn't have. In Surah Al-Kahf, you can find the story that Prophet Musa alayhi salam became a student of Khidir. And he didn't think that he is better than Khidir. And he can even learn from Khidir, whereas he is a prophet and Khidir is not. But some ulama says Khidir, some of the ulama they say that Khidir is also a prophet. Allah alam. Mm. So we should always remind ourselves that any blessings are from Allah, and we cannot produce any benefits or harm without His permission. So be humble. If not, Allah will humble us. The next one is spite towards others. This is hatred in one's heart towards someone, which is hating a creation of Allah. This uh, this is not what it shouldn't. A Muslim shouldn't hate anyone, be it a Muslim or kafir. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, "None of you has achieved faith until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself." And Imam Nawawi commented that the term brother here includes Muslims and non-Muslims, and it is highly recommended to pray for non-Muslim so that he or she may be guided to Islam. Uh, so we should not have this hatred towards another human being or any creation of Allah. Like we should love everybody, but we can hate the actions that are wrong. We can hate the actions, but we don't hate the person. There's also a hadith narrated that once the Prophet ﷺ told his companion, "Do you want to see a man of paradise?" Then a man passed by and he said, "That man is a man of paradise." One companion decided to find out his secret, this man's secret. What is that he what did he do that until the prophet said that he is the man of paradise, he is a man of paradise. So he asked this guy, what is your secret worship or deeds that until the prophet mentioned that you are a man of paradise. And the man said that there's nothing special, but what he does is he will not allow any hatred towards anyone. He would not to allow any hatred towards anyone every night. He he do not allow any hatred towards anyone. And so every night before he sleeps, he will forgive everybody, and he will remove all these hatreds toward anyone that he has. Then he goes to sleep. Uh, so that shows that this hatred thing is we should really work on not hating anyone, even our enemies. We shouldn't hate anyone, but we of course we can hate the actions. And the remedy for hatred towards someone is to pray for that person specifically and sincerely. Uh, some scholars even say that mention the person's name in your prayer and ask specifically dua, prayer for that person specifically, sincerely. That will inshallah remove the hatred uh, for, towards that person. And they say that this will work because when you hate someone and you pray for him and you mention good things about him, then that hatred will slowly remove, and you will be you will feel better, and you will feel that this person is actually not sad, not that bad. Uh, you find the good things in him, not the bad things in him. Next one is envy or hasad. This meaning of hasad is dislike and annoyance at the gifts God has given to another Muslim and wishing they would lose them. So this is a severe disease of the heart that some scholars hold to be the root of all diseases of the heart. So most scholars agree that this is the first manifestation of disobedience to Allah, when Iblis refused the command of Allah for him to bow down to Sayyidina Adam and the newly created human being. So the prevention of this, the only prevention of Iblis was prevented. Is not prevented. I mean, the only prevention is envy. So if Iblis don't want to bow down to Sayyidina Adam because he feels that Sayyidina Adam do not deserve the honor and he is superior. That he thinks that he is superior than Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. So when confronted, Iblis did not seek forgiveness from Allah. That is the deep hasad, the deep envy that he has towards Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, which lead towards the disobedience to Allah and being removed from paradise and being sent down to earth. So Quran teaches us to seek refuge in God from the evil of the envier when he envies. Surah Al-Falaq. الذي يوسوس Surah Al-Falaq. الذي يوسوس في الصدور الذي يوسوس من شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. This is to protect us from any types of envies. As the Prophet said, every possessor of any blessings is envied. Even a street sweeper can be envied by another person. So uh, we should protect ourselves by reciting this Surah Al-Falaq. أعوذ بالفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد means the evil of envier, from the evil of the envier when he envies. So we should recite this to protect ourselves from envies. Like the hadith said, every possessor of any blessings is envied. So even a street sweeper can be envied by anyone, meaning that if a street sweeper has, in some of the books they mentioned that if a street sweeper with a donkey is sweeping the road, and he can put all this whatever he have collected onto his donkey, and and then the donkey will carry the whatever he has collected, the rubbish. But another road sweeper who don't have a donkey, who have to carry himself the rubbish he has collected, then this person without the donkey will envy the person with the donkey. But both are street sweepers and they have nothing much. So even a street sweeper can be envied. So we should not question the blessings that Allah bestow to others, as He is the giver and all wise in what He gives to people. So we shouldn't envy. If you see that someone is given more blessings than us, then it's his part. Uh, we should just be happy for him. And to avoid envy, one must consciously act in opposite in opposition to one's caprice, one's hawa, as mentioned many times in the Quran. So if you feel that you hate him, then you shouldn't do things uh, that will manifest this hatred. So the envier can instead turn the table around when urged by the envy to praise that person. So and to give gifts to him or do him favors. Then this will remove his envy, uh, his hasad towards this person, uh, and this will in turn gain pleasures from Allah and stop envy from happening. The scholar says that there is no hypocrisy in doing this. So if you feel if we feel that we we have this hasad towards someone, then do this. Praise the person, or give gifts to him, do him favors. Then slowly we will begin to like this person, and the hasad will go away. And it's not being you're not being a hypocrite by doing this, because this is a way to remove the hasad. So we know with certainty that envy will only harm one's oneself in the long run. So it won't, because your envy, your hasad won't harm him. You won't harm the person that uh, he have hasad towards, but it will only harm himself. Uh, in a hadith, Rasulullah SAW say, if you have envy, do not harm others. So we are in check. As long as no harm is done, then the envy is okay. It means everybody will have this test, or this feeling of hatred, or hasad. Sometimes we have this jealousy towards someone. So if you feel that, then don't act on it. As long as you don't act on it, then you're okay. So if you have envy, do not harm others. But if you start to act on it and do something to harm the person because of your jealousy, to spread rumors, or to exaggerate certain things, to spread certain uh, small bad things or whatever regarding that person, just to bring him down, or to make him lose something, then you're in trouble. That means you have taken action to harm him. That is the problem. So as long as we don't harm, if you feel the hasad coming, then do not take action. Instead, turn the table around by praising him, or giving him gifts, or doing him favors to remove the envy. So Allah Alam. So next week, inshallah, we will continue from the matan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbana anfa'na bima 'allamtana rabbi 'allimna alladhi yanfa'una rabbi faqqihna wa faqqih ahlana wa qarabati lana fi dinina ma'a ahli al-kutri untha wa dhakar. Rabbi wafiqna wafiqhum lima tartadi qawlan wa fi'lan karama warzuqil kulla halalan da'ima. وأخلا أتقيا علما نحظى بالخير ونبقى كل شر. ربنا أصلح لنا كل شؤون وأجرنا بالرضا منك العيون، واقضي عنا ربنا كل الديون قبل أن تأتينا رسول المنون، واغفر واستر أنت أكرم من ستر. وصلاة الله تغشى المصطفى من إلى الحق تعالى، والوفاء بكتاب فيه للناس الشفاء، وعلى الآل الكرام الشرفاء، وعلى الصحب مصابه الغرر. اللهم اهدنا بهداك واجعلنا ممن يسارع في رضاك، ولا تولينا وليا سواك، ولا تجعلنا ممن خالف أمرك وعصاك. وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الله أعلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.